mis amigos, nosotros estamos de vuelta para un capítulo de Many Monday. We are back for another episode of Many Monday. It feels good to be back. I am wearing something that I got from my trip from St. Louis. It's very loose, it's very garmenty, right? In case not familiar with it, I usually read a list off my phone of different topics. It's just the one in the title of this video. And that list of topics is usually posted on my Instagram on Friday. Then of course on Many Monday, I actually go talk about those topics, right? But without further ado, let's get right into the list. First on the list is, I'll call you back. This was very frustrating for me because I don't know if it's just a cultural thing or just something people do. Instead of just ending a call the regular way, a person would say, I'll call you back. Never in fucking history has a person has told me, I'm gonna call you back, and they called me back. Why lie? Why lie? What do you gain from that, right? Or if I'm just wrong anticipating a person that says hey, I'm gonna call you back, or they're gonna call me back. Niggas never call me back. Never call me back. Never call me back. But the only thing I give the equivalent to is, because I'm not without my own shit. So when I say I'm around the corner, I'm usually 2 blocks over. But I'm still around the corner because I'm about to pull through. But the whole concept of I'll call you back and motherfuckers just don't call you back, it annoys me. It happened to me twice this week, right? And usually in the past I just let it go. But next time a person tell me I'm gonna call you back, I'm gonna be like, you a goddamn lie. You're not calling me back. Don't say you calling me back. You don't. I'm not picking on anyone with this. I'm not, because I had it happen 3 times this week. Every time I mention it, the time gets up. But yeah, it only happened 6 times this week. I'm not gonna give it too much energy. But stop telling people you're gonna do something and you don't do it. You're not calling back. You're not. Just stop. Okay. Second order of business. When to share and when to keep to yourself. This talks about a lot about I think with social media, at least for me, I get the sense of oversharing, but I think there still needs to be a sense of boundaries, right? So whatever job that you do have, especially if it works with the social services or working with individuals, we talk about this concept of maintaining boundaries and not bringing too much of your personal life. And I said the boundaries need to be set to the point where it's not becoming about you, it's about that client, right? But when we talk about social interactions or something that's not so much of a consumer client base, or it's not so much business or professional, how do I maintain those boundaries, right? What do I share? What do I not share, right? And I think as it relates to me, people that are close with me, when I talk about my family and my friends, and I'm not even talking about fucking associates, right? Who are associates to me? If we haven't talked in the past week, you're an associate. That's just how it is. But when person is very close to me, I think they can be privy to my political views. They can privy to my sexuality and just things that I feel, right? And things that are about my identity. And I don't necessarily need to vocalize that to everybody. It's none of their business. And I think that boundary is important. I think it's important to maintain. But of course, if I feel confident enough and I feel I want to share those things, I can. But I don't necessarily need to. And this will be something that I fall back on as far as a clip in the future to be why don't you haven't said anything about da 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 da? Why haven't you said anything about da da da? What is he? What is that? It's not important, right? If you know me, you know who I am and what I represent. But if people just want to make up rumors and whatnot, I don't give a damn. I really don't. So yeah, that's just me. I'm gonna keep who I am as far as those core values, political affiliation, sexuality, what have you, to people that are close to me, right? And then everything else just doesn't matter. Am I the asshole? I think it's a smooth transition. That's number 3. Am I the asshole? I've cut people off in my life, and I know I talked about it in previous videos, but it's in reflection of that I sometimes realize that I'm the asshole, or I could have went about it a certain way or a different way. But I also have to just stand true to what what I stand on, right? So if I look back to like the previous point about like that boundary, what do you share and what do you don't share? There was somebody in my past, I think I was in college, and we didn't share the same political beliefs. And instead of like talking it out and stuff like that, I immediately blocked this person, right? And I'm like, damn. But in hindsight, I feel bad that, I mean, I realized my state of mind at that point, and I stood on my values, and my core values is something that was important to me. So I commend myself to it. But as a point of maturity, I realized like maybe we should have had that conversation. Maybe we shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't have been so dismissive. And so with this, and I'm thinking about other instances where I cut people off. I do say that closure is overrated, but I do understand that I did a way of protecting myself. I cut people off like immediately, and that could be like a good or bad thing. I mean, it's good because like I'm protecting myself, but then I'm also aware in my mindset or in their perspective, you know, if they're the main character of their story and the main character of mine, I'm essentially the asshole. So when that girl, like different political views, and then me disassociating with that person in college, I'm the asshole in that story, right? In this past year, when I stopped talking to my best friend, when I stopped doing this, when I stopped doing that, because I felt a certain type of way after an interaction, when I felt disrespected, my time wasn't valued. I'm the asshole in that story. And it's interesting because I have like retrospect and I do things differently now. But I'm also okay with just letting them go, right? There was a time in college, I learned this in college a lot, where I got counseling for the first time. And I went on an apology tour. And I apologized to every ex that I had at that time. I know not people had the opportunity to do so, but I went back and I apologized to them and didn't want anything more than just to like to say my piece. So comes times where you feel like you need to go back and do that apology tour and shit, but it's not really necessary. As long as you make amends with yourself, and you have the maturity of knowing like, okay, in this instance I was wrong, or I could have done things differently, then I think that's okay. You don't necessarily have to do the work unnecessarily, especially if it's like the time of disconnecting with that someone. I know that's not the popular opinion. The person always gonna be like, oh, you should go back, get closure and stuff like that. But again, staying true to my word of closure being overrated in certain instances, right? The fourth thing, upper poor. There's this meme by this Instagram. It's on Instagram. If you go to, I think his name is Ermis. He's a big boney YouTuber. Not YouTuber, but Instagrammer, TikToker of that nature. And he had this meme he was talking about upper poor. It's pinned if you want to see it. And it makes me think about like me and finances and just trying to navigate. And I do feel like I'll be struggling at times, like literally be struggling. But then I have to thank God for the things that I'm still able to do, the still ways I'm able to maneuver, and the thing that I have, right? I may not be like the richest as far as like money and things of that nature, but like what I do have is time. And to be able to have time to think and be able to do different things, to be able to even record this video, I think is very evident in how I can be rich in some ways, because some people don't even have the time to think. And I'm thinking, when I was working at the jail, I didn't have the time to think because I'm working a 16-hour shift. And then if you work a 16-hour shift, the way this shit works is you work 16 hours, you go back home for like 1 hour, you drive back home, you sleep for 6 hours, then you gotta go right back up to work. So you don't have time to make sense of the world of itself. You don't have time to take any information in. You don't have time to think. You don't have time to eat, to do anything, right? And so now to be in a position or where I'm at with work and everything, to be able to have time to think, to be able to have time to do different things, it's beautiful. It's something I take pride in, and it's something that I don't want to ever neglect. But again, I want to do different things with my time, right? I'm still taking Spanish lessons. I'm still reading. I want to eventually pick up a part-time job just to do something different. But I am thankful for it, you know? And then I'm also taking it a step further by realizing that it's like broke, not poor, because like poor is more so of a state of being. It's more consistent. It's like it doesn't give you the flexibility to move up and down and stuff like that. But to be broke is like, it's momentarily. Like I'm like, I may be broke for a moment, right? But I'll eventually get money again, and I don't even know what that case is called, right? But yeah, that's my commentary on Upper Poor. Now I'm trying to find out my password. Okay, last thing on the list, and that's not the end of the world, okay? I've had to come with the realization of to cut my budget, because I was paying for all these streaming services. I was paying for HBO Max, I was paying for Peacock, and I was paying for Xbox and all these other things. And some of them, not Xbox, but I think some of them, they have the opportunity that, like, hey, it can literally be free. Like with Cricket, they told me Max could be free if you just be okay with ads, right? I mean, usually I can be on my laptop using the ad blocker, but it's like watching a 10 or 15 second ad isn't gonna kill me. It's not gonna end the world. It's not gonna ruin anything, right? Because we forget that there was a time, maybe you're a little too young for it, maybe you always had streaming services, but there was a time where we had commercials on TV, we watch those commercials, we do different things, and we'll go back to our regular programming. And commercials gave us a time to do different things and to maneuver, right? So I was watching the show yesterday. I think I was watching wrestling. No, I was watching JoJo Bizarre Adventures. I'm on season 5. And during a commercial break, gave me time to do different tasks where I'm just studying Spanish very quickly. I'm going to the kitchen, wash the dish out, or a quick bathroom break. So it's like, it gives you time, but it then also keeps you aware of like what's out of the world as far as consumerism, maybe even a little news, but then also like deals that you can take advantage of, like Wing Day being a thing, right? So it's not a bad thing, and I think like you need like some type of advertisement just like to see what the hell is going on in the world, what you can spend your dollar on if you choose to, right? But I do get like some people, they see something, they gotta buy it, right? That's not necessarily me, but it just makes me think of like, oh, that's pretty interesting, that's peculiar. And again, those 10 and 30 seconds is not the end of the world. Within an hour of content, if I'm taken away out of programming for like 10 to like a minute or 15 seconds, then I'm fine, right? But I will say there are some platforms, I won't name them, that are fucking horrendous with the ads. Like, have you tried, no, I will name it, fuck it. Have you tried watching an hour video on YouTube and then all the amount of ads in that? Oh my gosh, I was trying to watch a Cody Rhodes at LA Night interview, or was it The Miz? And the amount of ads in that, I wanted to like, I had to resort to other memes. I think I end up just using like someone's premium account just get through it. But yeah, life is good. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm definitely in a better place than I was last week as far as certainty. I'm still trying to figure some things out, but I say life is going good, right? Please like, subscribe, and comment. I say comment every video, and no one comments. Like, do you even make it this far to see me saying comment? If you're listening to the sound of my voice, comment, right? But for shits and giggles, right? Comment a number 1 through 10 with your Cash App or Zelle, right? At the end of the week, I will give $20 based off of whoever is close to that number, right? But just how things been doing, if one person just comments and they pick any number and that's the only number I see, they get the $20. It's just free. It's just a one-time thing just to see how things are going as far as momentum, as far as comments, because I'm thinking like, are people really seeing the video? Are they just not commenting? Are they clicking it and just zooming the fuck out, right? But yeah, regardless, take care. That's all I have today. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will of course see you next Monday.